Okay, guys. So the first thing we're going to do is establish a horizon line, and I could ordinarily this would be done with a paintbrush, but I don't want to dirty up a brush unnecessarily. So I'm just going to use a marker, and you guys can take like a small bright brush, which is pretty similar to the flat. Flat just has longer bristles, more of a rectangle shape. Bright has shorter bristles, more of a box or square type shape. But they pretty much function the same way. Um, you guys can just take a flat brush, a smaller flat brush or a bright, go in, barely dip into your gum saw, and then go into your brown color, whether it be raw umber, raw sienna, whatever type of brown you have, and you're just gonna make a line like that. That's it. So I'm just gonna do it with the marker because it's quicker, a lot quicker for me. Okay, I don't know, you know what? I'm gonna make that one a little bit higher because I got an idea for that one. And we're gonna make this one a little bit lower. And maybe this one. Oh, this was the one I had the idea for. Okay. Okay. Now, the horizon line is simply the spot where your horizon meets the ground. So this lets you know how much sky or horizon you're going to have, how much ground you're going to have. Okay, that's all that is. So we know where we're going. Now for the first one, the daytime. This is real simple. Again, I'm going to barely dip my brush into the gown saw because I don't want a completely dry brush. Okay, and we're just going to go into our blue. Now, you can go, as far as spreading the paint, you can go back and forth like that. You can hit the Bob Ross and make an X like that. Whatever works. There's no right or wrong way to do this. Whatever feels best to you, whatever you're most comfortable with. So I'm going back and forth. Now, you see, as we get farther along, we're losing paint, right? Don't put more paint on your brush. That's what you want. You want that gradient. Because when you look at the sky, you can see that gradient. Usually the top of the sky is darker, then as the sky fades away, it gets brighter and brighter. And that's what we have right there. And we didn't have to mix anything or nothing. Now, if you want to add more to that, you can put a little white down here. But it's really, in this case, it's really not necessary. But if you guys just want to see it, I'm going to do it. I'm trying to clean some of the blue off that brush. And ordinarily, you probably wouldn't even have to clean the brush. And I'm just going to just barely, see that little white right there on the brush? So it's not a lot. And you're going to go right there. And you see how much brighter that got? Now we may have to go back into the blue to kind of balance it out more. Because if I keep going up, then it's going to get brighter and brighter the farther up we go. If I don't add any blue. Okay. So now, let's go ahead and put our ground in there. And actually, if you guys want to, we could, and I'm trying to keep these layers pretty thin so they'll dry quick. Okay. Again, that just represents our ground. Okay, we're not trying to paint a masterpiece here. And so actually, let's go ahead and go to the sunset. And if you guys wondering, I just use masking tape to separate the canvas. So we're gonna go ahead and fill in the ground on these. And again, you're not trying to get perfect here. Let's go to the middle one, the bottom middle, sunlight. I might need just a pinch of downside to get that brush a little wet. There we go. And let's do the palette knife. And we could still go back over that ground with the palette knife later. Okay, so let's clean that brush. Wipe it off. So that was the first one. One thing you always want to do is step back from your work. Don't constantly be right up on your work like that, because you would never get the full scope of it. Always have to step back. That'll give you a better idea of where your progress is going, how the overall work really looks. So now let's do a night sky. So let's see, we're going to take just a pinch of black, and again, barely dip your brush into the downside and barely go into that black. Okay, we're gonna come up here. And this is gonna be like a gradient. I'm gonna put a little more black on that. We want that top layer to be pretty dark. Okay. And now you can see I'm using the X. Now I'm going back and forth. Okay, that's enough. So now we want a purple layer. So we're gonna go into our blue and red, just like when you were a kid at school. Take a little bit of red, take a little bit of blue, mix it. Now, here's our purple. It's a dark purple. Okay? And again, you see I'm using the X. And I like to smooth it out. Come back and smooth it out. So now we're gonna clean that brush. And we're gonna go into our blue. Just the blue. So clean that brush as much as possible. Okay. There's our blue. Now, I like to make my skies just going horizontal. Vertical. Now, once you got that blue on there, start working your way up. Because you want these three colors to start blending. Usually you don't want to go back down like I just did, but because see how the blue got dark after I started from the bottom, went up, came into the black, then went down. That's why you don't want to go back down. Okay, so now I'm just going to take a pinch of blue again, kind of go back over that. Now, another way you can do this, you can take a mop brush, which in my opinion is the best brush for blending. But make sure that brush, that mop brush, is completely dry. And you, actually I'm gonna use the big one. You want this to be dry. You barely want to touch it, and you're going to kind of go in a circular motion, work your way up. Okay? So we're going to just very lightly. Work your way up. And this will really soften things up and blend much better. You get a much better blend. And very lightly on that down. And there you go. There's a blended night sky. And we didn't put our ground in there. So since this is a night sky, this ground could be a little bit darker. So I'm going to go into the blue, just a dab of black, maybe a little more black, a little more blue. We want it darker than that. And remember guys, on the ground, we're not trying to be perfect. Okay. And one thing that will set that night sky off would be the indication of stars. And you can take a real small brush, or if you don't have a small one, which let's say I don't. I do, but let's say I don't. So there's a couple of ways you can do stars. Now you can wet your brush just barely wet, then dip it. Let me show you. Then here's my white, like that. And the trick to this method is making sure it's wet just enough. Let's see. Okay. Then simply hold it and flick. There you go. Now you have stars in your night sky. All right. Or you can take, like I said, if you have a really small brush, you can just, like a liner brush, you can just dip the tip of the brush into the white and then just make a little dots or whatnot. Okay, so moving right along, we're going to the sunset. So again, we're going to dip into the side. We're going to take our red. Top layer. It's going to be red. Okay. We're going to go into our orange. Now, I'm not going to clean the red off of this brush this time. We're going to do the same thing we did with that night sky, only this time it's a sunset. Into our orange. Then we're going to go into our yellow. Again, I'm not cleaning the brush this time. Now, once you got that yellow in there, again, you're gonna work your way up through all the layers. Okay, you can already see that gradient right there. And you can also, if you wanted to, you can also add a little white at the very bottom to brighten it up even more. Oh, I'm not getting enough on there. Okay. There we go. So now, we're going to take that mop brush, and I hope you cleaned it by rubbing it off on the towel. Okay. Or you can use a paper towel. So again, just like we did with the night sky, we're going to go. So at the bottom, barely touch it. Work your way up. Circular motion. And lightly come back down, go across, come back down. Very lightly. There's your sunset. Pretty neat, huh? You know what? We can make that ground, those grounds a little bit darker. Oh, that's starting to kind of irk me a little bit. So, this is just me being me. You guys don't have to do this. Especially the ground on the sunset. So we need to be able to distinguish that better. Okay, let's step back. Yeah, You can tell that a little bit better. Okay. So let's say you want to do something where you have a night sky where you got the moonlight, the glow from the moonlight. So how do you do that? Okay. So we're not going to put a gradient on it like we did up here from black, purple to blue. We're just going to pretty much use a dark sky. So we're going to take a little blue and a little black. Mix it together. And I'm going to show you guys something else too. So we're going to come up here. Okay. We need a little more. We need a little more blue. So if you feel your brush getting dry, go ahead and barely dip it into your gown saw. I'm just trying to get these edges right here. Okay, now we're gonna go back into the black and blue. And right here at the bottom for the ground, start at the edge, go in on both sides. With whatever's left on your brush. Do you see why? In a minute. Okay. Leave a little space right there. Don't completely cover that up. Okay, so I'm gonna clean that brush. All right, I'll clean that brush. And we want to get a different brush. I want to say we're going to use our small mop brush real quick. And you're going to go into your titanium white, just like this. Maybe take the corner of your brush and kind of wipe it off a little bit, just maybe one little stroke. And find the center. Just go in a circle. And there's other ways to do this. All right. Okay, now come down here. We need to clean that. So clean that mop brush, or whichever brush you use, and go back into your white with just a pinch of white. Come down here. Okay. Clean that brush again. You're gonna have to repeat this process a few times. Go back into the white. Again, not a whole lot. Come back up here. Clean it. Go back into the white. You guys see where I'm going with this? And let's try it one more time. Wipe the brush. Go back into your white. The reason you have to keep wiping it is because you're trying to put white onto a dark surface. Which if you just keep going around and around without wiping it, it's just gonna start blending into the dark color. And that's not what you want. Now, I went back into the white again that time. Okay. So that's pretty bright. Okay, clean the brush. Now, you got a decision to make. Do you want this to be your moon, or do you want that to be the glow that the moon is projecting? Let's just say, now, if you want it to be the glow that the moon is projecting, then you're gonna go back into your white, that corner, get a nice little amount, and right in the center, you need an almost white dot, which represents your moon. Okay. Now, that's if you want this to be the glow. And you take your mop brush, barely go across there. Same thing. And we're going to start from the bottom. Circular motion. Notice I'm kind of going around the moon. Now I want to clean that brush a little bit, just on the dry towel. I'm going to follow that shape. Kind of in a circular motion. Now I'm going to go across. Very lightly. And if you want those outer edges to be a little bit brighter, then just add a little more white and repeat the same steps. See, I'm trying to drag some of that white over to this side. And actually, let me make that a little bit darker, because this was actually supposed to be some water. But it needs to be a little bit darker. I'm gonna mix a little more blue and black. Okay, clean that. Clean that brush. Get your small mop brush, go back into the white. That's if you need to do this. Okay, clean that mop brush. Okay, take up, clean your big mop brush and just by wiping it on the dry towel. And we're gonna start at the bottom, and you just wanna go straight across. You don't wanna do the circular thing at the bottom because that's water. And you got the moonlight reflecting into the water, so it's kind of creating that little trail. Now step back. You got a nice moon glow effect, correct? And just to help divide that up a little bit, let's just go into some black. You don't have to do this part. I'm just gonna put like a little mountain range up there, so. Just take a little black paint, make a couple of jagged little edges. Fill them in. Now, step back again. If you did that, step back again and see how much of a difference that makes. All right. Pretty neat, huh? Yeah, I know. You're welcome. Okay, so we're almost done here. So now we're gonna kind of do the opposite of this. So I don't want you guys to, I kind of want to do a blue sky, but we run the risk of blue and yellow mixing. You know what? On second thought, we can't do that. I just figured out another way to do this. So go into your Gamsol, get a little blue. And one big important thing, I can't believe I almost forgot to mention, something that you have to keep in mind when you're doing the sky, is where is your light source? And we're going to get into that in this course too. Like, and what I mean by that is, where is your light coming from? Okay, this is pretty wet. Might have to let that dry a little bit. Oh, you know what? No, we won't. I always keep paper towels on hand. So before we can do the sunlight in the way I want to, I gotta get some of that paint off there, because that's a little too much. It's too wet and it won't work. And you guys see, I just took a paper towel and wiped it off. Okay. So let me clean that brush. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna take our small mop brush, or you can use a small filbert, whatever. And the same thing we did with the moon. I'm gonna go into the white, take the corner into the white, go in the center, make a circle. Well, my circle is not quite a circle, but you guys get the idea. Okay, clean that mop brush on a dry towel. That white should come off pretty easy. Dip a little bit into your yellow, just a dab. Go back to the white. Do not go outside that white into this blue. What happens when yellow meets blue? It turns green. I don't think you guys want a green sky. If you got a green sky, something is not right. Okay, clean that brush. Go back into the white. Clean it again. And the reason we keep cleaning that brush is because that's helping us brighten that glow, and it's also helping to prevent colors from mixing. Go back into the white and repeat. Okay, you keep doing this until you get the brightness that you're happy with, that you want. Now, once you've done that, then you go into the white one more time. Get a good amount, not like overload the brush with it. Just dab it right there in the middle. Okay, now I'm gonna clean that brush. All right, and I want to go back over that ground a little bit more too. Just to make it stand out a little more with the example. Okay, well, let me clean that. Get your big mop brush. Start at the bottom, up, and again, I'm going around it. Okay, now I'm gonna wipe that off a little bit. Wipe that blue off now. I'm going straight to that, to the center. Barely touching it. I'm following the shape. Barely, again, I'm barely touching the canvas. Because I don't want that yellow and blue to become green. Now, I get that little hazy look. Again, barely go across, barely touch it. Step back. There you go. All right, last one. Say the best for last. So for this one, I think we're just, since we're using a palette knife, and I know you guys are new to that, we're going to keep this one kind of simple. We're going to take some blue, and I have to. And this is where you're really going to need paper towels too. That's the good thing about working with a palette knife. You can easily clean them with paper towels. So, if you got a set, these should be in the set. Experiment and find out which one works best for you. Okay, so you don't have to use the same one that I'm using, but you do need to use a palette knife. Now, I think this round one will work best for me, but if you don't have it, then use the next best thing. So, you're gonna scoop it up. And kind of before you even do it, just kind of do like that to see what side you need the paint on, the paint to be on, or, you know. So once you got that, there's the blue. Now the thing I love about painting with palette knife is the texture it creates. So you can do a lot of things with a palette knife that you cannot do with a paintbrush. So do not go into your gown saw for this. Keep it dry. Okay. Now I'm gonna add some more blue. The best part is yet to come. And you see, I'm not worried about all these little gaps. You hear that scraping? Don't be afraid to dig into the canvas with that palette knife. Now, I'm gonna go into the white. Scoop it up just like that. Oh, look at that. And just play with the palette knife. Turn it at different angles. Flip it over. You know, try and create different patterns with it. Now you want to get a blend again. Go back into the white. Pick up more white and focus that white at the bottom. And you get your gradient. And you'll also get a lot of texture in it too. All right, let's go back into the blue. Let's go down a little bit. This one is just got to do whatever. You want to throw a little red in there. Just take the little corner, barely scoop it up. You can do a whole lot with a palette knife. Throw some white up there too, just barely. Look at that. So let's clean that off and let's do our ground. We'll get your paper towel. Just wipe it off. Oh man, that wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, go into your ground color, whatever color you use. Maybe you want to add a little black in there. What do you think? Now this one we're going to mess around with. We're going to create like a little path. So we're going to take that black and raw umber or burnt sienna, whatever color you use, on the ground. And again, play with the palette knife, turn it different ways, dig into the canvas. Now, going to the white, don't really have to clean it. Come right down the center. Wipe that off. You want a couple of mountains in there, no problem. But we're not going to do it with the rounded palette knife. We're going to make the mountains with this one. We're going to your black. Or whatever dark color is left. Because I'm almost out of paint at this point. Press it. And go across the bottom here. Okay. Now, what are we about to do? Step back. Pretty neat. Alright, so let's see what these look like when I take the tape off. Because right now, it looks like a hot ass mess. Oh, come on. Alright. This one don't want to cooperate. Like, what the hell, man? Now, with the palette knife, because when you use a palette knife, you use a lot of paint, and it's usually caked up. It takes a long time to dry. And remember, oil paints naturally take a long time, so it takes even longer than the regular length of time. All right, so take your tape off, and there you go. Now you got nice clean borders. Now you can see everything much better. Now you got a good foundation for setting to set your first layer of your landscape, your horizon, your sky. And there, like I said, there you have it. Pat yourself on the back for finishing this. But now, hold up, let me get back in the picture here. Y'all see my portraits. Okay, yeah, here I am. But now that we warmed up, oh, you thought you were done with this? At this? No, this is just the beginning. Now that you're warmed up, let's go paint a landscape. If you don't already know, I love my coffee. All right. That does it for this one. Deuces.